They said the guards ran before the sword even touched her neck. Men who feared nothing, men trained to kill, fled like terrified children because they saw something in that room, and to this day none of them can explain it. Welcome, beloved, I'm Grace, filling in for Amara until she returns. And this is Unbroken Courage, where testimonies of persecution, danger, and miraculous intervention remind us that heaven still defends those who stand alone. Before we begin, tell me where you're watching from. Tonight's story crosses borders and kingdoms, and I believe it will strengthen someone's faith. Now lean closer, because this story begins with betrayal, but ends with a miracle that shook a royal household. Her name was Camila, and the woman sitting in front of me that day was not her sister, but her cousin, Rasha, a quiet woman with trembling hands, eyes full of memories she had carried far too long. She didn't sit in the chair when she entered. She collapsed into it slowly as if her knees were remembering the terror. "Grace," she whispered, "if anyone back home ever discovers I told you, I will never see the sun again." I held her hand gently. "Tell me your truth. You are safe here." Rasha nodded, wiping her tears. Then she began. Camila was the youngest daughter of a powerful Saudi royal family, beautiful, gentle, quiet, and kind. But she carried a secret that could cost her life. She rejected a forced marriage. Her older brother, Prince Khaled, was furious. Her refusal was considered rebellion, disobedience, and shame. But that wasn't the dangerous part. The dangerous part was why she refused. Rasha whispered, "Camila found a small Bible in the belongings of a foreign maid. She read it, and something changed in her." She didn't convert publicly. She didn't argue religion. She didn't preach. She simply said, "I belong to God, not to a man who buys me." Those words spread through the palace like wildfire, and when they reached Prince Khaled's ears, his pride exploded. He declared she had brought dishonor to the kingdom, and he issued a sentence so brutal that even the palace guards whispered in fear, "Execute her at dawn." No trial, no hearing, just the order of a prince. Rasha said Camila wasn't dragged like others. She walked, 2 guards at her sides, chains at her wrists, but she didn't fight. "She held her head high," Rasha whispered. "She was calm, too calm." The palace execution chamber was deep beneath the royal wing, dark stone walls, a single torch, and a thick wooden door. The moment they pushed her inside, Camila fell to her knees and whispered, "Jesus, if I die tonight, hold me in your hands." All night she prayed, all night she cried quietly. She forgave her brother, she forgave the guards, she forgave everyone who betrayed her. At dawn, the guard captain entered the chamber with 6 soldiers. Camila rose to her feet, and that's when everything changed. Rasha's voice shook violently at this part. "Grace, the guards never touched her. They never raised the sword, they never even stepped forward." Because something was standing behind Camila. The guards didn't dare describe it. Some said it was a man of light, others said a burning figure. One said a warrior made of fire. All agreed on this. It was tall. It was bright, it was terrifying, and it stood directly behind her, as if guarding her. The captain dropped his sword instantly. It clanged on the floor. 2 guards fell backward. One screamed and ran. Another covered his face, shouting, "We cannot kill her! She is not alone!" Rasha whispered, "Grace, hardened soldiers ran like frightened animals. They left their weapons behind. They fled without looking back." Camila had not moved. She felt heat behind her. A warmth, a presence. She didn't see him, but she felt him, and she whispered, "You came." The entire palace erupted with chaos. The execution failed. The guards mutinied in fear. Whispers of an angel spread through the servants' quarters instantly. Prince Khaled was furious, but furious or not, there was no one left willing to kill her. That same night, Rasha risked her life to smuggle Camila out of the palace. They escaped through a forbidden gate, one guarded by a single soldier who mysteriously fell asleep at his post. Rasha said, "Grace, he wasn't just asleep, he was snoring loudly. He didn't wake even when we stepped over his foot." Another miracle. They fled into the desert, found passage onto a transport truck, and crossed the border into a safe country by dawn. Camila never returned. Today, she lives quietly, worshiping freely, working with refugee women. But Grace? Rasha said Camila never speaks of the angel except in one sentence. "He stood behind me so they could not kill me." Grace's closing words? "Beloved, kingdoms have executioners. They have swords, they have laws, they have armies. But heaven has angels. And when heaven stands behind you, even soldiers trained to kill will flee in terror. Camila forgave her brother, forgave the guards, forgave her enemies, and today her life is a testimony that no one can silence a soul protected by God. I'm Grace, and this is Unbroken Courage. Rasha took a slow breath before continuing. Her hands shook, not from fear of telling the story, but from the memory of everything she witnessed that night. She whispered, "Grace, the miracle inside the chamber was only the beginning. What happened after Camila escaped changed our entire family forever." And she began. Prince Khaled, the man who ordered his sister's death, was known for his cold, controlled temper. But when he learned the guards had fled in terror and left Camila untouched, he exploded. Rasha said she had never heard a sound like it. He screamed, demanded answers, threw his sword against the stone wall, and shouted at the captain, "You ran from a girl! You disgraced me!" But the captain couldn't speak. His teeth chattered uncontrollably. He kept glancing over his shoulder, as if something still followed him. He whispered one trembling sentence, "Your Highness, there was someone behind her." The prince froze. "Someone?" he asked. The captain nodded violently. "A tall figure of light. We could not lift our weapons." Another guard, a strong man known for brutality, fell to his knees and cried, "I saw eyes like burning fire staring at me." The prince stepped back. The color drained from his face. He dismissed them immediately, not from anger, but from fear. Because even he knew the legends whispered in their kingdom, stories of angels appearing to the oppressed. That night, Prince Khaled did not sleep. Rasha whispered, "Grace." He locked himself in his chamber, and the guards outside heard him speaking to someone. But he wasn't speaking. He was begging the darkness not to kill him, begging whatever he thought he angered to leave him alone. Because, beloved, he heard something in his room that night, something no one else heard. Heavy footsteps, slow, deliberate, crossing the marble floor. But when he looked, no one was there. He shouted for guards, servants, anyone. But silence filled the room. Rasha wiped her eyes. He wasn't haunted by guilt. He was haunted by presence. The next morning, one of the guards was found collapsed on the palace steps, not unconscious, just unable to stand. His legs trembled. His hands shook. He kept whispering, "I saw light, so bright I could not move." Physicians checked him. His body was normal, but his spirit was shattered. He resigned that same day and fled the kingdom with his family. 2 months later, Rasha learned he had become a Christian in another country. The miracle touched not only the sister, but the ones who tried to kill her. 3 days after Camila escaped, Prince Khaled disappeared from public meetings. Closed-door sessions were canceled. His advisors grew worried. Then Rasha revealed something stunning. "Grace, he summoned me secretly." He sat alone in his private courtyard, wringing his hands like a man losing his mind. His words came out cracked. "Rasha, does she live?" Rasha nodded slowly. "Yes." He closed his eyes, trembling. "I ordered her death, and heaven protected her." His voice cracked again. "What kind of God defends a woman against her own brother?" Rasha looked at me. "Grace, he wasn't angry anymore. He was broken." He covered his face and whispered, "I saw him." Rasha froze. "You saw who?" Khaled swallowed hard. "In the chamber, when I went down after the guards fled, I saw the same figure they described." He wiped his tears. He stood in the corner, watching me. Beloved, even rulers tremble in the presence of God. Rasha lifted her hands slightly, as if reliving it. She said Prince Khaled collapsed to the floor and began confessing things no one knew. The cruelty he committed, the lives he destroyed, the guilt he carried secretly, the emptiness he felt for years. He cried so uncontrollably that Rasha didn't know what to do. He covered his face and whispered, "Tell her, if she ever hears my name again, that I am sorry." Grace, the man who tried to kill his own sister, was now begging for forgiveness from the sister he believed he lost forever. And the miracle didn't end there. Because the prince survived an assassination attempt 2 weeks later, a knife that should have pierced his heart bent like soft wax. No one could explain it. But Khaled whispered, "Someone protected me, the same one who stood with her." For the first time in his life, fear turned into humility. Humility turned into curiosity. Curiosity turned into a longing for truth. Camila's reaction. When Rasha eventually reached Camila in her new country and told her everything, Camila closed her eyes and whispered, "I forgive him. I forgave him the night he condemned me." And then she said something that broke Rasha's heart. "Grace, I believe Jesus allowed the miracle not only to save me, but to save him. Beloved, this is grace beyond human ability. This is forgiveness that nations cannot understand. This is unbroken courage." Grace's closing words. Some stories end with survival, some stories end with healing, but this one ends with transformation. A sister saved by angels, guards fleeing in terror, a prince brought to his knees by a presence he could not deny. Beloved, no enemy is too powerful for God to humble. No heart is too hard for him to soften. No darkness is too deep for him to enter. And no betrayal is beyond the reach of forgiveness. I'm Grace, and this is Unbroken Courage. Drop a comment and share. Let's continue. Rasha took a long breath before sharing the last part. She said, "Grace, the miracle didn't just save Camila. It began a chain reaction in our entire family. Some miracles only last a moment, but this one echoed through every corridor of the palace, and the echoes have not stopped. Camila had a younger sister, Lena, quiet, observant, only 16. She was very close to Camila, but too afraid to defend her when the prince condemned her. After Camila escaped, Lena cried until she fainted. But then something happened that changed her life forever. 3 nights later, Lena ran through the palace halls screaming, terrified, weeping. She shouted, "I saw him! I saw the man of light!" Guards rushed to her room. Servants gathered outside the door. The queen demanded answers, but Lena couldn't stop sobbing. She finally whispered, "A man shining like the sun stood at the foot of my bed, and he called my name." Everyone dismissed it as trauma. A nightmare, fear. But Lena insisted, "He told me my sister is alive, and that I must choose whom I belong to." Guards fled the room in fear. The queen fainted. And Lena, the princess who never questioned the traditions of her land, fell to her knees and whispered the name she had heard her sister whisper in secret, Yahshua, Jesus. Beloved, even the dreams of the innocent can become a doorway to truth. Rasha wiped tears as she described this next moment. A week after Camila's escape, one of the guards who fled the execution chamber returned to the palace gate, but not to reclaim his post. He returned shaking, holding something wrapped in cloth. The guards did not want to let him in. He looked half-starved, wild-eyed, like a man who hadn't slept since the miracle. He begged to speak to the prince. Prince Khaled agreed, mostly out of curiosity. The guard walked into the royal courtyard, knees weak, sweat pouring down his face. He bowed and opened the cloth. Inside was the sword he had dropped during Camila's execution. The blade was bent, twisted, curved unnaturally, as if something had melted its steel. He whispered, "Your Highness, I swear I did not bend this. When I ran from the chamber, it was straight." Prince Khaled grabbed the sword, shaking. The guard continued, "Something grabbed it, something made of light, something stronger than fire or iron." And then the guard confessed, "I tried to kill her. I would have if that being had not stopped me." He knelt before the prince, sobbing, "Forgive me." But beloved, the prince said something no one expected. With tears running down his own face, he placed a hand on the guard's shoulder and whispered, "If heaven forgave my sister and spared my life, then I forgive you too." The guard collapsed, weeping uncontrollably. That same night, he fled the kingdom entirely. And months later, Rasha learned. He became a follower of Christ. Rasha's voice lowered. Her words trembled. "Grace, what I'm about to tell you, few people in that kingdom know." 2 weeks after Camila escaped, the prince locked himself in his chamber again. He refused food. He refused counsel. He refused sleep. He begged heaven for a sign that his sister was alive and that the angel he saw wasn't a hallucination. That night, Khaled had a dream. Not a normal dream. A dream so vivid it shook him awake with a scream. He saw an endless desert, a woman dressed in white, a man of light walking beside her, and a scroll falling from the sky. When the scroll hit the ground, it opened, and words burned across the sand. "She lives because mercy found her. You live because forgiveness waits for you." When Khaled woke, his pillow was soaked with tears. He fell to his knees and prayed for the first time in his life. Rasha whispered, "Grace, the prince is not saved." Not yet. But something broke inside him, something pride could no longer keep alive. When Rasha reached Camila in her new country and told her everything, the dream, the guard's confession, the prince's breakdown, the younger sister's visitation, Camila closed her eyes and whispered, "My suffering was not wasted." She placed her hand over her heart and said, "Grace, Jesus saved me not to escape death, but to become a voice for women who cannot speak." Today, Camila works quietly among refugee women, women forced into marriage, women fleeing violence, women who have lost everything. She tells them, "I should have died, but heaven stood beside me, and heaven stands beside you too." Rasha looked at me with tears and said, "Grace, she forgives all of us, even him, even the brother who tried to kill her." Beloved, that is not human forgiveness. That is the forgiveness of someone who has walked with angels. Grace's final words. Some thrones are built on fear, some families are ruled by control, some hearts are hardened by pride, but one encounter with heaven can break chains no sword can touch. Camila should have died, but the one who stood behind her turned execution into escape, fear into forgiveness, and betrayal into purpose. Beloved, never forget. You are never truly alone in the room where they plan your downfall. Heaven walks in first. I'm Grace, and this is Unbroken Courage. Thank you for watching.